massive council chamber buzzed with angry voices from dozens of different species. Ambassador Elena Vasquez sat quietly in her chair, watching the chaos unfold before her. She had seen this same scene many times in her 5 years representing humanity at the Galactic Council. The Draknari delegation was on their feet, their scaled bodies gleaming under the chamber's bright lights. Their leader, Councillor Vex, slammed his clawed fist on the metal table. His voice boomed across the room, like thunder. Enough talking. The Kepler sector belongs to whoever can take it and hold it. My people have the strongest fleet. We will claim what is ours. On the opposite side of the chamber, the insectoid representatives of the Hive Collective clicked and buzzed in their strange language. Their translator spoke in a cold, mechanical voice. The collective has already sent exploration swarms to 17 worlds in that sector. Those planets will feed our growing population. Any interference will be met with total, or the crystalline beings known as the Resonance began to glow brighter, their bodies humming with dangerous energy. Their speaker's voice sounded like breaking glass. The mineral deposits in the Kepler sector contain rare elements needed for our technology. We have already begun charging our planet to crackers. Any species that stands in our way will be reduced to cosmic dust. High Mediator Krell, the ancient being who had overseen the Galactic Council for over 300 years, raised one of his many tentacles for silence. His voice carried the weight of centuries. 3 species claim the same territory, each threatens war against the others. This is exactly the kind of conflict that has destroyed civilizations throughout galactic history. Alina stood up slowly. Her simple blue diplomatic uniform looked plain compared to the armor and elaborate clothing worn by the other species. When she spoke, her voice was calm and steady. Perhaps we should consider a different approach. Earth offers to mediate discussions between all 3 parties. We have experience in resolving territorial disputes through peaceful means. The chamber fell silent for a moment. Then Councillor Vex began to laugh. It was a harsh, barking sound that made several smaller species step back in fear. The humans want to play peacemaker again. Your species is weak, Elena Vasquez. You have never fought a real war since joining this council. You sit in your safe corner of the galaxy and pretend to be wise. Other species began to murmur in agreement. The Hive Collective's translator spoke up. Humans are known for avoiding conflict. They have one of the largest fleets in the galaxy, yet they never use it. This makes them appear cowardly to species that understand strength. A delegate from the wolf-like Fenris pack howled in amusement. I have heard that human ships run away from any sign of battle. They are more interested in exploration and trade than fighting for territory. Alina felt the weight of their mockery but kept her expression neutral. She had heard these same insults countless times. Humanity had indeed avoided every major conflict since joining the galactic community 50 years ago. We prefer to solve problems without violence, she said simply. War brings only death and destruction. Surely intelligent species can find better ways to share resources. Councillor Vex leaned forward, his yellow eyes gleaming with contempt. Tell me, human, why does your species always run from conflict? You have the ships, you have the technology, yet you never fight. What makes you so afraid of war? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Every delegate in the chamber turned to look at Alina. She could feel their curiosity, their judgment. Some species respected humanity's peaceful approach, but many saw it as weakness. Alina was quiet for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her words were careful and measured. We avoid war because we understand its true cost better than most. What cost? Vex demanded. The cost of victory. The price of claiming what belongs to the strong. No, Alina replied quietly. The cost of survival. Before anyone could ask what she meant, alarms began blaring throughout the chamber. Emergency lights flashed red as automated systems announced an urgent message. Alert! Massive fleet movements detected in the Kepler sector. All species are advised to maintain safe distances from the disputed zone. The chamber erupted in chaos once again. The 3 species that claimed the sector began shouting accusations at each other. Each believed the others had already begun. Military operations. High Mediator Krell's voice cut through the noise. All fleets in the Kepler sector were supposed to maintain peaceful positions until these negotiations concluded. Which species has violated the agreement? Councillor Vex snarled at the Hive Collective delegates. Your swarms are already consuming asteroids in the outer system. This is an act of war. The insectoid translator buzzed angrily. Our swarms are only gathering resources for survival. It is the Resonance who have begun fracturing space itself with their mining operations. The crystalline beings grew brighter with rage. We are extracting minerals according to galactic law. The Draknari are the ones who have brought weapons of mass destruction into the sector. Alina watched the 3 species tear into each other with accusations and threats. She knew that within hours, maybe minutes, the first shots would be fired. Once that happened, the conflict would spread beyond the Kepler sector. Other species would choose sides. The galaxy would be at war. She touched her communication device and sent a coded message to Earth. The response came back almost immediately. Her face went pale as she read the words on her screen. High Mediator Krell noticed her expression. Ambassador Vasquez, is there something wrong? Alina looked up from her device, her hands shaking slightly. I need to contact my government immediately. There are developments that require urgent attention. What kind of developments? Bex demanded suspiciously. Dotalina stood up, her diplomatic training keeping her voice steady despite her inner turmoil, the kind that might change how this council views humanity's approach to war. She gathered her papers quickly and headed for the chamber exit. Behind her, the three species continued their heated arguments, unaware that their conflict was about to reveal secrets that had been hidden for decades. As Alina walked through the corridor toward her private communication room, she couldn't stop thinking about the message she had received. Deep space monitoring stations had detected something moving through the dark regions beyond the Kepler sector. The energy signatures were massive, far larger than any known fleet. But what worried her most was not the size of the signatures. It was their origin point. They were coming from the direction of Earth's most classified military installations, the ones that officially did not exist. Alina realized that humanity's carefully maintained reputation for peace was about to be tested in ways she had never imagined. The galaxy was about to learn that there were very good reasons why humans avoided war. She just hoped they would understand those reasons before it was too late. Captain Marcus Reed stood on the bridge of his ship, staring at the holographic display showing the Kepler sector. His vessel, the Whisper, was completely invisible to any known scanning technology. It had been watching the growing conflict for 3 weeks without being detected. Captain, we're receiving multiple energy signatures from all 3 fleets, reported his sensor officer Lieutenant Kim. The Drachnary have moved their battle cruisers into attack formation. The Hive Collective is releasing combat swarms, and the Resonants are charging their weapon systems. Reed nodded grimly. The Whisper was not like the diplomatic ships that other species knew about. It was angular, dark, and built for war. Its weapons could destroy a city in seconds, and its armor could withstand planet-cracking explosions. Send a coded transmission to command, Reed ordered. Tell them the situation is escalating faster than predicted. We may need to implement Protocol 7. His communication officer, Sergeant Torres, looked worried. Protocol 7 meant revealing humanity's true military capabilities to the galaxy. It was something they had hoped to avoid. Meanwhile, on a dead world 3 systems away, Dr. Yuki Tanaka was making a discovery that would change everything. She had been studying ancient ruins for 6 months, trying to understand the civilization that once lived there. The planet showed signs of massive destruction. Cities had been reduced to glass, oceans had been boiled away. Whatever had happened here, it had been swift and total. Dr. Tanaka's scanning equipment suddenly began beeping frantically. She had found something buried deep beneath the ruins. Her excavation team worked for hours to uncover what appeared to be a massive underground facility. Professor, you need to see this, called out her assistant, Dr. Martinez. The energy readings from this structure are off the charts. Inside the facility, they found walls covered with strange symbols and images. The pictures showed fleets of ships fighting across the galaxy, planets being destroyed, entire star systems going dark. But what caught Dr. Tanaka's attention were the weapon designs carved into the walls. The energy patterns matched something she had seen before in classified human military files. The technology was similar to what humanity had been secretly developing for decades. This is impossible, she whispered to herself. These ruins are thousands of years old. How can they have technology similar to ours? Back in the Kepler sector, the 3 species were preparing for battle. Warlord Grix of the Drachnary stood in his command center, studying tactical displays. His ships were the most powerful in his species' history. The humans think they can mediate peace, he growled to his officers. After we claim this sector, we will show the galaxy what real strength looks like. The human fleet will be our next target. Grix had been planning this for years. He believed that defeating humanity would prove Drachnary's superiority over all other species. Their peaceful reputation made them seem like easy prey. Sir, our intelligence reports show that human ships always retreat when faced with superior force, reported his tactical officer. They have never engaged in large-scale combat operations. Exactly, Grix replied with satisfaction. Once we finish with the Hive and the Resonance, we will march straight to Earth. The galaxy will see that peace is just another word for weakness. What Grix did not know was that Agent Torres had been listening to every word. She had infiltrated the Drachnary command ship weeks ago, using advanced human stealth technology. Her mission was to gather intelligence on potential threats to humanity. Torres activated her hidden communication device and sent an urgent message to Captain Reed. The Drachnary were not just planning to fight over the Kepler sector, they intended to use it as a stepping stone to attack Earth. Itself, Reed received the message while his ship continued its silent watch. He immediately contacted his superiors through encrypted channels. The response came from Admiral Rosa Martinez, commander of Earth's hidden defense fleet. Captain Reed, you are authorized to begin defensive preparations. If the Drachnary attack human territory, we will respond with full force. Reed knew what that meant. For 50 years, Humanity had been building a secret military fleet, while the galaxy saw peaceful exploration ships. Humans had been constructing weapons of incredible power in hidden facilities throughout their territory. Dr. Tanaka made another shocking discovery in the ancient ruins. She found a chamber containing what appeared to be an artificial intelligence system. When her team managed to activate it, the AI began speaking in a language that their computers could barely translate. "Warning," the ancient voice said. "Galactic conflict approaching critical threshold. Defensive systems will activate if warfare exceeds acceptable parameters." Dr. Tanaka's blood ran cold. What defensive systems? What will happen if the threshold is crossed? The AI's response was fragmentary, but terrifying. It spoke of weapons that could sterilize entire star systems. Technology designed to prevent galactic wars by eliminating all advanced life forms if necessary. The architects created this system after the last Great War, the AI explained. If intelligent species cannot maintain peace, they will be removed to protect the galaxy from destruction. Back in the Kepler sector, the three fleets were moving into battle positions. The Hive Collective released millions of bioships that began consuming asteroid belts to fuel their growth. The resonance started fracturing space-time itself, creating gravity weapons that could crush planets. The Drachneri opened fire first. Their plasma cannons lit up the darkness of space as they targeted Hive swarm clusters. The battle had begun. Captain Reed watched the energy readings spike across his displays. "Lieutenant Kim, are you detecting the same readings I am?" "Yes, sir. The energy output from this battle is unlike anything in recorded history. If it continues to escalate, it could trigger some kind of automated response." Reed realized that the ancient AI Dr. Tanaka had discovered was not just a historical curiosity. It was still active, still monitoring galactic conflicts, still prepared to implement its terrible solution. Agent Torres sent another urgent message from the Drachneri ship. Warlord Grix was not content with defeating his current enemies. He was planning to use the most powerful weapons in his arsenal, devices that could ignite gas giants and turn them into temporary stars. Captain Torres reported, "The Drachneri are preparing to deploy stellar ignition devices. They want to create a statement that will terrify all other species into submission." Reed knew that such weapons would push the conflict far beyond anything the galaxy had seen in centuries. The energy output would be massive, potentially triggering whatever ancient systems Dr. Tanaka had discovered. He opened a direct communication channel to Admiral Martinez on Earth. "Admiral, we have a problem. This conflict is about to escalate beyond all predictions. The Drachneri are planning to ignite gas giants as weapons." Martinez's response was immediate and decisive. "Captain Reed, prepare your ship for combat operations. It's time to show the galaxy why humans really avoid war." Reed looked at his crew, all of whom had been training for this moment their entire careers. They were about to reveal humanity's greatest secret to the galaxy. General Alex Morgan stood in the command center deep beneath Earth's surface, watching as tactical displays showed the Kepler sector battle spiraling out of control. The three-way war had become something beyond anyone's predictions. The energy signatures were climbing toward levels that would trigger the ancient Guardian systems. "General, the Drachneri have just ignited their first gas giant," reported his operations officer, Colonel Park. "The energy pulse from the artificial star. It is massive. It's pushing us closer to the activation threshold." Morgan watched the readings climb on his screens. The Hive Collective had responded to the Drachneri stellar weapon by releasing bioships that could consume entire moons. The resonance had begun fracturing space-time itself, creating gravity wells that were pulling asteroids into their enemies' fleets. Specialist Priya Okafor was connected to the Architect AI network through advanced neural interfaces. She had been monitoring the ancient systems for weeks, watching as they slowly came to life across the galaxy. "General, the Guardian platforms are at 60% power," she reported, her voice strained from the mental connection. "The AI called Echo 9 is trying to delay full activation, but it's fighting against automatic protocols that are thousands of years old." Morgan had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. As head of Earth's secret military operations, he knew that humanity's true test was finally arriving. The choice they faced would determine the fate of all life in the galaxy. "What's the status of our peacekeeper fleets?" he asked his tactical team. "Admiral Martinez's ships are in position around the Kepler sector," Colonel Park replied. "But, sir, if we intervene now, every species in the galaxy will know about our hidden military capabilities. There will be no going back." The displays showed human ships moving through dark space toward the battle zone. These vessels were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They were built with hybrid technology that combined human engineering with principles learned from architect ruins. In the Kepler sector, the three species were locked in a battle that threatened to tear space itself apart. Nexus, the collective consciousness that controlled the Hive fleet, was coordinating attacks across multiple star systems simultaneously. "The enemy forces are stronger than predicted." Nexus communicated to its battleships, "Release the consume their home worlds to fuel our expansion." The Hive ships began to change, growing larger and more aggressive. They started devouring not just asteroids and dead worlds, but inhabited planets where billions of innocent beings lived. Resonance Prime, the crystalline entity commanding the resonant forces, was equally ruthless. It had begun using weapons that could shatter the fabric of space itself. Reality is ours to shape, it declared to its followers. We will unmake our enemies at the quantum level. They will cease to exist across all possible timelines. The resonance attacks created tears in space-time that threatened to spread beyond the battle zone. If they continued, entire star systems could be erased from existence. Warlord Grix of the Draknari was the most dangerous of all. His stellar ignition weapons had turned 3 gas giants into temporary stars. The artificial suns were burning, so hot they were affecting the gravitational balance of nearby systems. Let the galaxy see what true power looks like. Grix roared to his fleet. After we finish here, we march on Earth. The humans will learn that peace is for the weak. Specialist Okafor suddenly cried out in pain as information flooded through her neural link. General, the Guardian systems are accelerating activation. Something has changed in their programming. On her screens, weapon platforms throughout the galaxy began emerging from hidden locations. They had been waiting in dark space for millennia, disguised as asteroids and debris. Now they were revealing their true nature. Echo 9 is trying to communicate something, Okafor said, her voice urgent. The architect consciousness is still partially active within the system. It's been watching our species for 50 years. General Morgan realized they were out of time. Signal Admiral Martinez begin Operation Guardian Angel immediately. Authorization. Code Alpha 77. In space around the Kepler sector, human peacekeeper ships began to They appeared as if from nowhere, their advanced stealth systems finally revealing Earth's true military power. The ships were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Their hulls were smooth and dark, covered with energy patterns that seemed to flow like liquid metal. They moved with precision that no other species could match. Captain Reed's ship, the Whisper, was among the first to engage. Its weapons were designed to disable rather than destroy, but they were incredibly effective. A single shot could shut down a Draknari battlecruiser without harming the crew. All human vessels, this is Admiral Martinez, came the transmission across the fleet. Our mission is to stop this conflict before it triggers galactic sterilization. Use minimal force. Protect all life. The 3 warring species suddenly found themselves facing an enemy they had never expected. The peaceful humans they had mocked were revealing military technology that seemed impossible. Nexus was the first to react. Unknown vessels with advanced capabilities detected. Hive forces will adapt and overcome, but the Hive bioships found they could not adapt to human weapons. The peacekeeper vessels used energy patterns that disrupted biological functions without causing permanent damage. Entire swarms of bioships simply went dormant. Resonance Prime tried to use its reality-shaping weapons against the human fleet. We will erase these newcomers from existence. The crystalline beings discovered that human ships were somehow protected against quantum-level attacks. Their space-time weapons had no effect on the peacekeeper hulls. Warlord Grix was furious. Impossible, the humans are supposed to be weak. How do they have technology superior to ours? His plasma cannons and stellar weapons were useless against the human ships. The peacekeepers moved through his formations like they were standing still, disabling his vessels one by one. Specialist Okafor was receiving more information from Echo-9 General. The Architect AI is analyzing our intervention. It's trying to determine if humanity is ready to become the new guardians of galactic peace. The ancient consciousness was watching every move the human fleet made. It was measuring their responses, judging their worthiness based on how they handled the crisis. The Guardian platforms are at 80% power, Okafor reported. If we don't stop this battle soon, the sterilization protocol will activate automatically. General Morgan watched as his ships continued their peacekeeping mission. They were successfully stopping the 3-way war, but at the cost of revealing humanity's greatest secret. Sir, we're receiving communications from the Galactic Council, Colonel Park announced. Every species in the galaxy is demanding to know where these ships came from and why we kept them hidden. Morgan knew that everything was about to change. The galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. The question was whether they would understand the true reason behind 50 years of careful deception. Professor David Kane sat in the most secure room on Earth, surrounded by classified documents that few humans had ever seen. As humanity's leading expert on galactic history and former military strategist, he was one of only 12 people who knew the complete truth about why humans avoided war. Admiral Rosa Martinez entered the room, her expression grave. With her came Dr. Yuki Tanaka, who had been rushed back from the ancient ruins site. The 3 of them represented humanity's greatest secret keepers. Professor Kane, Admiral Martinez began. Dr. Tanaka's discovery confirms our worst fears. The ancient defense systems are still active. We need to brief the Emergency Council immediately. Kane nodded and activated a holographic display showing the history that humanity had kept hidden for 50 years. The images were disturbing. Dead worlds, destroyed civilizations, empty star systems where once great empires had thrived. When humanity first ventured into deep space, Kane explained, we discovered something that changed everything we thought we knew about galactic history. We found evidence of a war so devastating that it nearly ended all intelligent life in the galaxy. Dr. Tanaka added her findings to the display. The civilization I discovered called themselves the Architects. They were incredibly advanced, far beyond any current species. But they were also the last survivors of the Great Galactic War. The hologram showed massive space battles involving hundreds of species, weapons that could destroy solar systems, technology so powerful it could reshape the fabric of space itself. The war had lasted for thousands of years. The Architects tried to bring peace to the galaxy. Kane continued. They offered their advanced technology to any species that would stop fighting, but the other civilizations saw their peaceful offers as weakness. Admiral Martinez pulled up tactical displays showing the final phase of the ancient war. The Architects realized that intelligent life was incapable of maintaining peace on its own, so they created a solution. A permanent solution. The images. It showed massive automated systems being constructed throughout the galaxy, weapon platforms hidden in dead space, computer networks that could monitor every inhabited world, technology designed to activate when galactic warfare reached a critical level. They called it the Guardian Protocol. Dr. Tanaka explained. If warfare ever threatened to destroy galactic civilization again, these systems would activate and sterilize all advanced life forms. The galaxy would be reset to primitive conditions, giving evolution a chance to create more peaceful species. Kane's voice became heavy with the weight of knowledge. The Architects programmed these systems and then voluntarily uploaded their consciousness into the network. They became the guardians of galactic peace, willing to destroy all life rather than allow another devastating war. Admiral Martinez activated another display showing human space exploration history. When our first deep space missions found Architect ruins, we thought we had discovered treasure, advanced technology that could make humanity the most powerful species in the galaxy. But then we found the AI systems, Kane added. We learned about the Guardian Protocol. We realized that the galaxy was sitting on top of a loaded weapon that could activate at any moment. Dr. Tanaka connected her findings to the current crisis. The AI I discovered confirmed that the system is still active. It monitors energy outputs from all conflicts throughout the galaxy. When combined warfare exceeds certain thresholds, the Guardian Protocol begins activation sequences. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The current battle in the Kepler sector was approaching those dangerous thresholds. Admiral Martinez showed them classified footage of human military development over the past 50 years. Once we understood the threat, we had two choices. We could reveal the Guardian Protocol to the galaxy and risk panic, war, and possibly premature activation. Or we could take responsibility for preventing conflicts from reaching the critical threshold. The footage showed human shipyards building vessels unlike anything the galaxy had seen. These were not exploration ships or trade vessels. They were weapons of incredible sophistication, designed specifically to stop wars before they could escalate beyond safe limits. We chose to become the galaxy's secret protectors, Kane explained. Every time we avoided conflict, we were protecting not just ourselves but every living being in the galaxy. Dr. Tanaka pulled up energy readings from the current battle. The three-way conflict in the Kepler sector is producing energy signatures that are approaching critical levels. If it continues to escalate, especially if the Drekneri use their stellar ignition weapons, it could trigger the Guardian Protocol. Admiral Martinez showed them the human response plan. Our hidden fleets are already moving into position. We have ships designed to shut down conflicts without revealing our true capabilities. But if we have to intervene directly, our secret will be exposed. The hologram showed human vessels unlike any that other species had seen. They were sleek and deadly, built with technology that combined human engineering with architect principles. Each ship could disable enemy vessels without destroying them, ending conflicts through superior technology rather than brute force. We call them peacekeepers, Kane said. They're designed to stop wars, not win them. Every weapon system is non-lethal but incredibly effective. We can shut down entire fleets without killing a single being. Dr. Tanaka accessed the ancient AI's knowledge base through a portable interface. The Architect consciousness is still active within the Guardian network. I've been communicating with it through the ruins. It's been waiting for a species mature enough to take over the Guardian role. What does it want from us? Admiral Martinez asked. Proof that we understand the true cost of war, Dr. Tanaka replied. The Architects believe that humanity might be the first species since their own civilization to value peace over power. But they need to be certain before they consider transferring Guardian authority to us. Kane brought up final classified files showing humanity's true military capacity. We have been preparing for this test for 50 years. Our entire space defense strategy is built around preventing galactic wars, not winning them. The images showed hundreds of human ships designed for peacekeeping operations, mobile factories that could repair damaged worlds, medical vessels capable of treating injuries from any species, technology focused on preservation rather than destruction. Other species see our peaceful approach as weakness. Admiral Martinez said they don't understand that we have the power to destroy them all, but choose not to use it. Dr. Tanaka received an urgent communication from the AI network. The Guardian systems are beginning preliminary activation sequences. The battle in the Kepler sector has crossed the first threshold. We have very little time. Admiral Martinez stood up, her decision made. Signal all peacekeeper fleets. Begin Operation Guardian Angel. It's time to reveal who we really are. Kane looked at the tactical displays showing 3 species about to trigger galactic sterilization through their desire for war. I hope the galaxy is ready to learn why humans really avoid conflict. Dr. Tanaka watched energy readings spike across multiple star systems as ancient weapon platforms began powering up throughout the galaxy. They're about to discover that our greatest strength was never our willingness to fight, but our wisdom to prevent fights that could destroy everything. Fleet Admiral Jackson Hayes commanded the largest human fleet ever assembled as it moved toward the Kepler sector. His ships were no longer hiding in the shadows. Every species in the galaxy could see humanity's true military power for the first time. The ancient Guardian systems had reached full activation. Massive weapon platforms emerged from dark space throughout the galaxy, their targeting systems scanning for signs of advanced civilization. The automated defense network was preparing to sterilize all intelligent life. Admiral were detecting Guardian platforms in over 300 star systems, reported his tactical officer, Commander Lee. They're powering up planet-killing weapons. Estimated time to full sterilization protocol is less than 2 hours. Hayes looked at the tactical display showing the impossible task ahead of them. Humanity had to fight a war against machines that had been designed by the most advanced civilization in galactic history. But this was not a war to conquer, it was a war to save everyone. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the flagship, no longer hiding behind diplomatic language. She opened a communication channel to every species in the galaxy. People of the galaxy, this is Ambassador Elena Vasquez of Earth. For 50 years, humanity has carried a terrible burden. We have been the secret guardians of galactic peace, protecting you from a threat you never knew existed. Her transmission reached the Galactic Council, where species were demanding answers about the human fleet that had appeared from nowhere. The ancient weapon systems now activating throughout the galaxy were created by a civilization called the Architects. They were designed to prevent galactic wars by destroying all advanced life if necessary. This is why humans avoid war. Which is why we have been building our fleets in secret. Councillor Vex of the Draknari was stunned. His mighty fleet had been disabled in minutes by human ships he had never imagined existed. This is impossible. Humans are weak. They run from every fight. Elena's voice carried across the galaxy with quiet authority. We run from fights that do not matter so we can win the fight that does. Today humanity fights not for territory or resources but for the right of all species to exist. The 3 species that had started the conflict were now working together trying to understand what was happening. Nexus of the Hive Collective, Resonance Prime of the Crystalline Beings, and Warlord Grix found themselves united against the Guardian threat. Admiral Hayes received a communication from Specialist Okafor, who was still connected to the Architect network through her neural link. Admiral, I'm in contact with the Architect consciousness. It calls itself the Architect Prime. It's not just an artificial intelligence. It's the uploaded mind of the last Architect leader. The ancient being spoke through Okafor's voice, its words carrying the weight of millennia. Young species of the galaxy, you have proven yourselves unworthy of continued existence. Galactic warfare has reached critical levels. The sterilization protocol will commence. Admiral Hayes stepped forward. Architect Prime, humanity requests the right to prove that our species can maintain galactic peace without the need for sterilization. Humans, the ancient voice replied. You have been observed for 50% of your years. You show promise, but you are still young. Why should the galaxy be spared when you cannot control the violent nature of your neighbors? Elena answered for her species, because we understand something that the other species are only now learning. True strength is not the power to destroy your enemies. It is the wisdom to turn enemies into allies. The Guardian platforms began firing on inhabited worlds, but human peacekeeper ships moved to intercept, using their advanced shields to protect planets throughout the galaxy. Humanity was literally standing between the ancient weapons and every other living being. Commander Lee reported from the tactical station. Admiral, our ships are taking heavy damage protecting civilian populations. The Guardian weapons are more powerful than anything we've encountered. Hayes watched as his fleet fought the most important battle in galactic history. Human ships were being destroyed, but for every vessel lost, thousands of alien lives were saved. Captain Reed's ship, the Whisper, was among the vessels engaging Guardian platforms directly. His crew had trained for this moment their entire careers, but nothing could have prepared them for the reality of fighting machines designed to end civilizations. Target the power core, Reed ordered. We don't need to destroy them completely. We just need to shut them down long enough to prove our point. The human ships used technology that combined their own engineering with principles learned from Architect ruins. They were the only vessels in the galaxy capable of fighting the Guardian systems on equal terms. Warlord Grix watched in amazement as human ships sacrificed themselves to protect Draknari colonies. Why do they die for us? We are their enemies. Nexus of the Hive was equally confused. Human behavior does not follow logical patterns. They protect those who would destroy them. Resonance Prime began to understand they fight not for victory, but for principle. They value life above all else. The tide of battle began to turn as other species joined the fight. The Drachnary Hive Collective and Resonance used their fleets to support human operations. Former enemies worked together against the common threat. Specialist Okafor maintained her connection with Architect Prime throughout the battle. The ancient consciousness is watching everything we do. It's measuring our worthiness based on how we handle this crisis. Alina spoke directly to the Architect consciousness. We do not ask you to trust us because we are perfect. We ask you to trust us because we are learning. 50 years ago, humanity was as violent as any species, but we chose to grow beyond our nature. The battle reached its climax as Admiral Hayes led a combined fleet of all galactic species against the Central Guardian Command Station. The ancient facility was hidden in dark space, protected by weapon systems that could destroy entire solar systems. All species. This is Admiral Hayes. Today we fight not as separate civilizations, but as one galaxy united against extinction. Every ship, every crew member, every species has a role to play. The final assault involved tactics that no single species could have accomplished alone. Drachnary ships provided heavy firepower. Hive biovessels adapted to Guardian defenses. Resonant technology manipulated spacetime to create tactical advantages. Human ships coordinated the entire operation. Architect Prime watched as former enemies worked in perfect harmony to disable the Guardian network. Species that had been ready to destroy each other hours before were now dying to protect one another. Fascinating, the ancient consciousness admitted in 50,000 years of observation. No species has ever chosen cooperation over domination when faced with superior force. Perhaps there is hope for this galaxy after all. The Guardian systems began powering down as Architect Prime made its decision. Humanity, you have proven worthy of the Guardian role. The responsibility for galactic peace now passes to your species, Alina. You felt the weight of that responsibility. We accept, but not as conquerors. We accept as servants of peace, protectors of all life. The galaxy was safe, but everything had changed. Humanity's secret was revealed, and their true role as guardians was now known to all species.